here. Let's go.
You're so funny. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode. Today we are talking about the movie, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I know Christmas happened a few days ago, but this is a fun movie that we wanted to talk about. I'm not going to play the trailer because I'm in a hotel with bad Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to share a link to the trailer.
What is going
on our website. I'm going to share a link. Here's the trailer. Boom, boom. So go watch it. And then I'm also going to share a link to our review at our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. This is bad production. I should have grabbed a mouse.
You should have been ready for all this. You made me get up and come over here.
I'm ready. Okay, tell me about this movie.
I also did an interview with the director, Jenkins, I believe his name was.
I need to post that too.
In relation to this film. So this is one of those movies that I didn't care that much about. I thought it looked like it might be funny. Sorry for the audience. It's only 10 o'clock.
Are you okay? Are you running out of energy?
I'm a senior citizen.
Low energy.
Anyway, it was one of those movies. The trailer looked funny, but I didn't know if it was going to be just another one of those, throwaway Christmas movies with a bunch of kids and church plays and is it the true meaning of Christmas and all the cliches and go. And it is, in fact, that movie. But there's actually more to this movie than you might think.
Yes.
I guess I'm going to keep going because you're on.
Go ahead.
My hair is jacked up.
I said that. You don't listen to me.
Well, I don't listen because your hair is jacked up too. The premise of the movie is about this church play. Pageant, I guess. I don't know what the difference between
it's a Christmas pageant.
Why do the pageant is supposed to be a contest?
I think it's a play.
Okay, why do they call them pageants? Because pageants are
that's what white people call them.
But why? Because pageants are when they wear like sashes and are trying to win shit.
I don't know. You tell me. This is your people.
I've never been in a pageant, so I don't know.
I don't know. I've
been in many plays.
I don't go to white church. I go to Spanish church. If I couldn't go to Spanish church, I would go to black church because it's more exciting.
You're a racist.
I am when it comes to church because white church
should just be
y'all start on time and leave on time. Y'all don't leave any room for the Holy Spirit.
No, they get the Holy Spirit on time at our church. The Holy Spirit the Holy Spirit stands outside of y'all's church like this going. All right. And then gets out of there and be like, Lord, these people. Anyway, so the premise is this church pageant. That's like this big deal.
You're shaking the box.
I'm sorry that we have this ghetto setup.
Let me try to move it back.
Anyway, you're gonna put it back and you're gonna tumble that right off the edge of this. We're sitting in a bed like a weirdo.
Well, I mean, I could sit at the table.
Okay, shut up. I'm talking.
All right.
I'm talking about Jesus. Could you shut it? It's about this church. This pageant is like this massive deal in this town for decades. And this one lady who's trying to fit in, this mom, she's never really given any respect by the other moms. Circumstances arise where she's able to take over the pageant.
Yes.
And in the midst of it, there's this group of bad kids that live in the neighborhood, that live in the town, and they're like just the worst kids ever.
Yeah.
They find a reason to be in this pageant because they see a way of getting things. And so they decide they kind of muscle their way into the pageant. All the other kids are afraid of them. So they are able to get all the parts, everything else. So then it becomes this whole thing of chaos and humor, but also redemption. There's 3 layers to the film, really. It's this family and their own kind of connecting with each other, and this mom trying to find her way. Even though the kids are kind of the narrators, if you will.
Yes.
They're not as important to the story as like the mom's part. And then you have the bad kids part of the story.
Yes, that's a whole other
story. And what their story is.
We're like, what is up with these kids?
Yeah. And then you actually have the church as part of the story, which the reality is the church has kind of lost its way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of all of this come together. So to me, it was kind of a mashup of like Cheaper by the Dozen meets Christmas Story. The chaos and
Oh, we're losing signal. Okay, come on, internet. We're Awakening. I really like this movie. It was so good. I was over here crying and just sobbing because really it's how I think this happens. Churches, it's like, oh, these bad kids are not good enough to be at our church. Like, we're for the nice, high class people. But those are the people that we should be trying to reach. The people
and even
that
though,
need
well, it's also really
help.
dealing with like churches losing their way of what's important to the church.
Correct.
Which, not just the faith stuff, but how you treat other people. And like in this case, it's this pageant is such a big deal to them. It means more to put on the best pageant than it does to really get the message of the pageant.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that I actually really enjoyed this movie more than I expected to. I thought I would enjoy it like on a funny level, but it's a way deeper movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And I thought, would they be able to balance it right? And when getting to talk to the director, I didn't get to talk to him a lot of detail, but he had a lot to say about his connection and trying to make it work. And it's interesting because the movie falls into a drama, a lot of comedy, but then a very hard like punch at the end.
Yeah, it's very heartfelt, about the community, this one family, the other bad kid family, but then truly discovering like what is the meaning of Christmas for everybody that brings us all together.
And there's some really funny ongoing jokes. Like there's a little girl who plays the angel, and she just screams, and she's like the craziest scary kid, but she's the smallest.
She's so funny. She's like, "Hey, you guys!"
Yeah, she just yells at people. She's just like, ah, like that's the angel. How the angel talks. It's like really funny. But you have the older girl who's kind of the one that takes care of all of
take care of all the kids, siblings, all the bad kids.
And I think to me, one of the best moments of the entire film, it's this bookended scene with very little to no dialogue. That's a picture of Mary and this little girl looking at Mary at the beginning when she first sees it.
Yeah. And
then looking at Mary at the end of the movie, and it fully encapsulates what this movie is about.
Yeah, like she
and
gets
her
it.
Recognizing, because first time she just sees this stupid painting.
Yeah.
Next time she sees who Mary is in that picture, and because she experienced it through her own moment. I also was talking to the director about how me and you connected differently to the movie.
Yeah.
Because as myself, somebody who works with kids all the time in my martial arts classes, and I got a lot of the bad ones, and none of them are bad kids. They're just, super energetic. You get some of those that just can't behave. But how do you navigate that? How do you deal with that? When do you give up on them or not give up on them? And when do you want to give up on them?
Yeah.
When are they lost causes, or can you always salvage them?
Yes.
Whereas you came from the church family, so seeing this same idea from the church's point of view, I think we both saw different things in what the story was.
For sure. That's what I was saying. I feel like it's still relevant to how churches sometimes treat people who are not part of the group or the circle, but that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be welcoming everyone. And you see throughout the movie, the kids actually learn like what the true meaning of Christmas is. So I thought it was really good. And I may go read the book.
And you're what?
I may go read the book.
Oh, well, you don't know how to read, so it's not
well.
It is. Don't let it fool you. It's also not a preachy movie.
No, it's not at all.
That's one of the things I loved about this, and I told him as well, was it is very faith-based. You could tell it comes from a point of someone who's strong in faith and believes in making sure that message, because, you get a lot of Christmas movies and they're not about really what Christmas is about.
Right.
It's about Santa Claus and the presents and just holiday cheer and all these things. And those are all fine. But this is a Christmas movie that takes place in a church dealing with the nativity and all these things. And then you can watch this movie as someone who is a very religious, faith-based, see it as like a Dove type movie, even though it's way better quality and budgeting.
Yeah.
But you can also watch this movie just as a comedy drama and enjoy it. And never, in my opinion, never feel like it's trying to preach to me about Jesus, or it's trying to preach to me about you should believe in God or religion and whatever if you don't.
Right.
Because everybody, whether you believe in God or not, if you do Christmas, you know what Christmas comes from.
Yeah.
It's just mostly the commercial aspect. Even 98% of religious people don't celebrate Christmas based on what it is. They may go to church for Christmas and do all those things. we believe in Jesus is, but they're still doing the presents and they're doing all the stuff with their families, and they're not making the whole thing about what that is.
Correct.
I mean, if you were going to get technical, we should be doing trees and all the other stuff. You should be just, if you're going to do it, be religious and do it. If you're not religious, don't do it. That's really where it should be. But now it's commercial to what it is.
It is what it is.
Which I'm fine with both, but
it's part of it now.
But I think this movie walks a great line of connecting differently with people and being both movies without